Here's a video on direct and inverse variation. And with direct and inverse variation, you're going to be given sets of y's and x's. You'll have one set and then another set. Sometimes it might be in a word problem. I'll show you examples of all this. And the key is how to set this thing up as a ratio. If you set it up as a ratio, I'll show you really quickly how to do that in a calculator, and it makes ratios easy. The key is setting up these ratios. Okay, so first let's look at a direct variation. In a direct variation, you're going to set up a ratio where you're going to take the first y that they give you, and you're going to put it over the first x that they give you. And then you're going to put on the other side, you're going to take the second y they give you and put it over the second x. Okay, see the order? The y's are on top, the x's are on bottom. The first set you get and the second set. And then I'll show you in just a second how to do this, the math easily, and once we set those up. So watch how it works. Alright, it says assume that y varies directly as x. So we see it says direct. So we're going to take the first y, 9, put it over the first x, which is negative 3. That's going to equal, alright, the y's on top, so the y's got to go on top here. So the second y is 6, and we see that, and we're looking for the second x, which goes on bottom. Now, the easiest way in the world to do these in a calculator is simply go like this. Find the number that's with the variable. In this case it's 6, and put it in the calculator first. And then all you're going to do in one step is just cross multiply and divide. So I would hit times negative 3 divided by 9. And ratios is simple. I mean, if you know to put this one in the calculator first, whichever one's with the variable, cross multiply and divide. In this case, x would equal negative 2. Alright, let's set this one up. Y equals 4, there's our first y, over our first x, which is 2. Alright, it's looking for the second y this time, and it tells us the second x is 16. Okay, now what number's with the variable? 16, so I'm going to go 16 times 4 divided by 2. So if I look at that, I go 16 times 4 divided by 2, all in one step. And I get that x equals 32 for this one. Alright, see, it's pretty easy. What if you have a word problem? It says a salesman's commission varies directly as his sales. Write the formula. That's what we've been doing this whole time. Alright, it says he gets $100 every time he sells something that's 1,000. So we can call this our y and this is our x. Okay, and then over here it says find the commission if he sells this much. So this is the sales. The sales was an x. So our x goes on bottom, remember, on the second one. So that goes on bottom. And we're looking for this. So I'm going to go 1750 times 100 divided by 1,000. So 1750 cross multiply times 100 divided by 1,000, all in one step. 1,000. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. I drew too many zeros there, didn't I? 1,000. Enter. And I get, let me do that over. I think it's got one too many zeros. 1750. Why do I keep doing that? This thing keeps glitching on me. 1750 times, there we go, 100 divided by 1,000. Okay, hit enter. That's more like it. Alright, the y in this case, y is, what did we say, 175. So y is 175. Notice that calculator when I was doing that, when check you plugging in things right. I obviously had made a mistake. I knew that was right. Go back and redo it if you need to. Alright, let's Let's go to inverse variation. And in inverse variation, we're setting up a ratio again, but our ratio this time goes like this. Y1 goes on top, and Y2 goes on top of each side. But the inverse happens on the bottom. The second x goes on the bottom. The first x goes on this bottom. See how that is? First y, second y, and then you flip it. First x, second x. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're talking about here. This time it says y varies inversely. So inverse. Our first y goes on top. Our second y we're looking for. Then our first x goes over here. Alright, and our second x goes over here. It varies inversely. And now the ratio. Take the number that's with the variable, which is 7, cross multiply, 9, divide, all in one step, 2. Hit enter. Alright, y equals 31.5. Easy stuff. Alright, let's check this one out. Our first y says if y equals 4.3, there's our first y. It says when x is 12.9. Well, I know the first x goes on bottom over here. And it says find y when x is 15.8. Alright, so now the number that's with the y is 12.9. And then I divide by 15.8. So I'm going to go 12.9 times 4.3 divided by 15.8. I hit enter, and I get this big long number. We'll round that off to 3.5. So y equals 3.5. And that's how you're going to do inverse variation. Alright, so here's your extra credit. 1 and 2, you have direct variation problems. Set up those ratios, cross multiply and divide. 3 and 4, we have y varying inversely as x, so set up the ratios correctly, cross multiply and divide. Get these questions done. Show that the ratios are set up correct. That's what I'm going to be looking for, and the correct answer. Turn them into Mr. Riddle. Get your extra credit.